I'm a grandma, I get it. I never reciprocate that. What is that gonna look like for this channel? I don't know. This addiction needs to stop. I've been trying. Hello. It has been a minute since I've sat down and just done one of these talking videos. This is also the first sit down of the new year of 2023, so that's really exciting. If you're new to my channel, my name is Delilah. I make motherhood and lifestyle videos here, and I have been for the last 6 years. My goal on this channel is to share content that uplifts and encourages and challenges and inspire, and that is why I'm sitting down to share with you today 23 goals that I have set for myself for 2023. Most of these are healthy habits. Some of these are like specific goals that I want to set for myself, but all of them can be adapted to you and to your lifestyle and whatever situation you're in right now. I'm not generally the person to set a New Year's resolution. Usually there's a word that sticks out to me and I dwell on that word throughout the year, and I, try and be more like that word. For example, 2 years ago it was slow down. Last year it was to be more intentional. But this year, as I was thinking about it, there were just a number of things in general that I really wanted to stretch myself in and work on. But instead of just like putting these resolutions or these goals or these big broad ideas in my mind, I wanted to break it down into simple, practical ways that I could achieve the overall goals. Some of those goals included just working on our marriage, always working on our marriage, always trying to make it better and more intimate. I want to work on myself as a mother, as a wife, as a homemaker. I really want to focus on my relationship with the Lord, and there are a number of homemaking tasks that I would really love to learn more about. Now, am I going to be able to change all these things at once? No. This is going to be something that I'm going to be working on all year long, starting off small, starting off with 1 or 2 things and gradually working my way through the list. Sometimes it's honestly a little bit intimidating for someone in my position to be sharing my goals and stuff like this online because, well, people will watch this and then they'll watch a few videos in a few weeks and be like, didn't you like say you wanted to be more like this? So I don't see that happening. I'm not a perfect person. I am gonna make mistakes, and these healthy habits and goals, they take a while to achieve. They take a lot of learning and growth and mistakes, and it's gonna take me a while to get there. I might not even get there this year, but I wanna try. I didn't really wanna share my list for that reason, because I didn't wanna have people, nitpicking at me online, people who don't really know me, people who see only like a few minutes of our day, bits and pieces of our lives. But I did want to share, first of all, for that little bit of accountability. There is that little bit of pressure, and that's not a bad thing, but also to hopefully challenge you to make some similar goals for yourself and to work on some of these things alongside me. I am excited for this video, I'm excited for this year, and I'm excited to share my journey with you on some of these things. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 1, spend less money. Pretty self-explanatory. I mean, don't we all want to spend less money? I've always tried to be really mindful of how I spend my money and what I spend my money on. Always asking myself, like, do I really need this? I will say I used to be really good about spending my money, and then we started making a little bit more money and I got a little bit more lenient with how I spend my money. I want to reel myself back in. It's not that I like spend like crazy. I would say I'm still very wise with my money, but I want to be wiser. I want to spend less. I want to be content with less. I don't need to buy as much as I do. Number 2, find a home for everything that we own. This is something that I've slowly been starting to work on this winter. You probably know I've got this like little cleaning series, organizing series on my channel that I've started. I've started with our closet and then our toys, and next we're gonna go into the kitchen later this week. But I'm finding that we just don't have a spot for everything that we own, and that's a problem. That means we've got too much stuff. That means things are unorganized. That means it's really hard to find the things that we need when we need it because they're not, like, they don't have a home, so who knows where they are. I want to get to a point where our entire home is organized and everything that we own has its own dedicated place, so that when it's clean and when it's put away, we know where it is. And I want to be really good about putting it back when I'm done with it. It would save us so much time and stress if everything had a home. And I always know, like, okay, so my camera's gonna be right here. My shoes are here. My sunglasses are here. Not having to spend so much time looking for these things will save me so much time and so much stress. And same with my kids. Like, if my kids know where things are too, that's just that, I mean, then I don't have to go around looking for it. They don't have to go around looking for it. They just know and they can grab it. And then they know where to put it back too. Number 3 is organize digitally. We always talk about organizing our homes and our spaces, but digitally, that's another story. And with my job, it is crucial that I am digitally organized. We have terabytes of footage and photos and content that we have to try and back up. We've got like invoices and tax stuff and so much stuff here and there that is really hard to keep track of if I'm not organized. I also have photos from way back, I think when Eloise was born. Was that like the last time I went through my photos? Probably. I have so many photos that I need to back up before something happens to my computer and they get lost. Like, it's really bad. And again, that'll be so much easier for me to be able to go and find things instead of trying to search my whole computer for one little invoice or one little photo. I need to do that. I really need to do that. Number 4, eat a more wholesome diet. Now, when I say a more wholesome diet, I don't mean like I'm gonna go on a diet and I'm gonna be like this health freak who only eats vegetables. It's not what I mean. When I say wholesome diet, I mean like not eating so much processed stuff. This is something that's kind of been on my mind and my heart since last year. I really want to move away from buying as much processed foods as possible, like processed snacks and crackers and cereals and dressings and, you know, like the pre-made stuff that just has random weird ingredients in it. I'd love to get to a point where I can make that stuff at home with whole ingredients. To be able to know everything that's going into our food would be so awesome. And I love cooking. I love being able to provide for my family in that way and to just work with my hands in that way. There are a number of things that I've already added to my list of things that I can do from home and have been doing consistently, such as making bread, yogurt, mayo, some dressings. Things I would love to add to that list this year are things like granola, cereal, salad dressings, marinades, crackers. That would be really cool. I want to learn how to make a lot more like breads and buns, and I'd love to learn how to make cheese. Apparently making cottage cheese and ricotta cheese is really easy to do, and mozzarella, so I'd really love to learn how to do things like that. Number 5 is learn how to sew. This is something I wanted to do for a really long time. I never learned how to sew. I mean, I learned how to hand sew, kind of, like not really. I have purchased a sewing machine. I've used it a few times. Do I know what I'm doing? No, not at all, not a clue. But so far I have made a sink curtain and curtains for our bathroom. This year I would love to be able to learn how to make curtains for the whole house, and eventually over the years I'd love to learn how to maybe even sew like some dresses, maybe some like other pieces of clothing for my kids or for myself. I love to learn how to mend and to fix holes and to fix clothing. I'd love to just be really handy in that way because I think I could do so much good for our family and our home by learning that skill. And that's something that I really love to do too. Like, I know how to crochet. My grandma taught me how to crochet. I remember as a kid I always crocheted and cross stitch. I did the latch hook thing, and in recent years I kind of taught myself how to knit as well. So I love working with my hands like that. I know, I'm a grandma, I get it, I know. Number 6 is to master something. Specifically for me, I want to master sourdough. I want to learn what a good dough feels like or looks like. I want to experiment with different techniques and recipes. I'd love to learn how to make like a sandwich loaf, pitas, English muffins, cinnamon rolls, buns, bagels, and to make them on a regular basis and to just really understand sourdough, because right now I have a very, very basic knowledge of sourdough, and I've been trying for a while, and like I can make a decent loaf of sourdough, but that's all I know. I want to just get a really good feel for it and to not feel like I don't know what I'm doing, but to have like a really good grasp and understanding of how sourdough works. Plant a garden from seed. I've been trying to learn how to garden for the last number of years, and I just feel like I've gotten not very far. I feel like I still don't know anything. I feel like I'm just guessing, and a lot of the time I'm failing, and I don't really know what I'm doing. I really want to expand my garden knowledge and understand what different plants need, the soil that they need, where to plant them, where they're best gonna grow, just how to take care of them, how to prune them, how to make the most out of my small garden. I think if you prune like a green pepper plant when it's at a certain height, it'll grow like twice as much green peppers or something like that. Like wild things like that that I just need to learn more about so that I can just make the most of the small space that we have. But not only that, but I want to grow it from seed because it gets really expensive when you end up having to go to the store, buy plants that are already starting to grow and then transplant them into your garden. It gets really expensive. And I had to do that last year with a lot of plants because they didn't grow from the ground. So I want to start my own little greenhouse downstairs and just start growing little plants from seeds. Number 8 is read more books. I used to read so much. I used to love reading. I would read like a full chapter book in a day. I would just sit and read, and I loved it. But then I graduated high school and I started working more, and then we got married and we started having kids, and I have lost interest, I've lost time, but I want to get back into it because I know how much I used to love it. And I know how much better it is for my brain to be reading than to be scrolling or watching TV. Honestly, one of the biggest reasons I haven't gotten back into reading is because I don't know what to read anymore. I don't know what I like anymore. I don't know what's good. Like I step into a library or into a bookstore and I get so overwhelmed because I just don't know even where to begin. So if you have any good book suggestions, leave them in the comments below. I'm sure a lot of other moms out there could use the suggestions as well. And I don't want to just read fiction. I know I typically lean towards fiction just because it's more exciting, it's more interesting, but I want to read more like books on parenting, on homemaking, on gardening, on being a wife, you know, books that are really going to help me grow in my journey with the Lord and with my husband, and in my parenting journey with my children. Those kind of books are probably the best kind of books that I could read. So I want to get myself to a point where I actually want to pick up one of those books and I actually want to read one of those books, because right now I'm at a point where I have a good book that's been like a motherhood book that's been sitting on my nightstand for months, and I have not picked it up because I just don't really want to. I want to get to a point where I actually want to pick up those books and I want to learn more and better myself. Stop filling the silence with noise. There is so much noise in our world today. We have access to everything right here. We have music, we have videos, we have everything. I feel like I'm always trying to fill the void with some kind of noise. Then I feel like I never really get a chance to think, to really, really think, and to be with the Lord and to pray and to just be. The next one is swap scrolling with blank. Swap scrolling with reading, swap scrolling with praying, swap scrolling with XYZ, whatever it is that you want to do that's not scrolling. Whatever kind of hobbies you have, or whatever way that you can just like mindlessly do something, or not necessarily mindlessly, but just do something to entertain yourself, to take that break without having to look at your phone. Social media is far too addicting, and I want to learn how to have my social media time and to not get distracted by it, to have a few minutes, be done, move on to something else. I want to start puzzling more. I want to maybe do more crosswords, to read more, to pray more, to read my Bible more, to just not scroll, because that mindless, endless scrolling is so unhealthy. This is kind of going off my word from last year, which was just being intentional. I want to be so intentional with my time and what I'm filling my mind with. There's a verse in Philippians. Look. I feel like this is kind of my theme verse. This verse is actually on my merch. It's on my website. It's kind of been my favorite verse since high school. Philippians 4 verse 8 says, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." That means dwell on things that are going to challenge you and uplift you and encourage you and make you a better person. Do not dwell on things like social media that might make you feel discontent or inadequate or unworthy or not good enough. And social media just makes me feel like mush after a while. Like, you know that feeling of just scrolling endlessly for hours and feeling like you've accomplished absolutely nothing, because that's what you've done. You've accomplished nothing, and you start to feel like gross, you know? Whereas if I had spent that time reading or puzzling, reading my Bible, I would have felt so much more uplifted and encouraged and good, because I'm dwelling on things that are good for me, things that are going to challenge me and uplift me, things that are going to make me feel refreshed and renewed and thankful. This is a huge thing that I really want to work on, is just not scrolling so much and learning when is enough and when to step away. Give more compliments. How good does it feel when someone gives you a compliment? I mean, it makes you feel good. It puts a smile on your face. It brightens your day. I want to be that person who can brighten someone's day. It's so easy. And it's funny because so often I realize I'm like thinking these compliments in my head, but I don't actually say them, especially to my husband. I'm not very good at speaking words of affirmation, I'll be honest. It almost makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable, but I need to get over that, and I need to learn how to do it and to say these things, because I can so easily brighten someone's day just by speaking these nice things that are on my mind. You know, so often I'll be out and about and I'm like, oh man, I really like that girl's jacket. I'm like, oh, her hair is beautiful. I think these things, but I never actually say them. So that's one of my goals for this year, is to actually get the words out, say those nice things, because that little compliment can really just go such a long way. The next one is kiss my husband more. I'm not very good at words of affirmation. I'm also really not very good at displaying public affection. Zach's really good at both of those things, actually. He compliments me all the time. He comes and hugs me all the time. He kisses me all the time. It's lovely. I never reciprocate that. My mind is always just so full of, what are we eating for dinner? What do my kids need right now? What do I need to clean right now? What do I need to work on right now? And I'm always thinking one step ahead and forgetting about my husband. That's gotta change. I really want to open back up that like physical connection, that public display of affection, the flirtiness, the giggles, the hugging, the kissing, the holding hands. Just because my arms are full with children does not mean there's not enough room for my husband. He comes first, and I really want to make that a priority this year. And I want to be better with that, not only for myself and for him and for our marriage, but also for our children. As much as they pretend that they're all grossed out by mommy and daddy kissing, secretly deep down they love it. They love seeing mom and dad love each other. And I think that's so important. Going along with that, we really both want to take date night more seriously this year. We tried to last year, and there were times where we did really good with it, and then there were times where we didn't. Life gets busy, and sometimes it's really easy to forget, but we don't want to make any more excuses. We really want to prioritize date night and each other and our marriage. And it doesn't have to be going out every single week. It doesn't have to be spending a lot of money. It doesn't have to be dropping the kids off at a babysitter somewhere so that we can have some time alone. It can just be at home after the kids go to bed. It can be doing a puzzle together, cooking dinner together. But just having that one-on-one time together is so huge. Hold my children more. I'm someone who gets touched out pretty easily. I don't love being touched all the time. Physical touch is pretty low. It's like at almost the bottom of my love languages. I'm being like touched a lot. If kids want to, be held a lot, I just like, yeah, I don't know. But then I realized, hey, you know what? My children are not going to want to be held for very long. This is such a short little span of their lives where they actually want and crave and need mom to hold them and to love them and to physically just cuddle them. And how special is that I can be that source of comfort for them. So I want to learn to let some of my own feelings slide sometimes, to just sit and to just hold them and just soak it in, because these moments are so fleeting. I want to start giving meals to friends more often. This is something that I've kind of started doing a little bit more recently, but I know how impactful it is when someone cares enough to just bring a meal over so that I don't have to cook. Usually for us, this happens, after we have a baby, and it's such a blessing. It's the hugest blessing when someone you love provides you with food. It really is. It's huge. I can just make twice the amount of whatever dinner I'm making that night and then pack it up and bring it over. Like, it's not that much more work. And then I am able to bless someone so hugely in that way. I want to be that blessing to other people. So we've been bringing meals to more people, and it's been really cool. And I want to do that a lot more. Okay, this next one might sound a little silly, but like seriously, no more phone in the bathroom. Why do we think that we need to bring our phone into the bathroom? Do we need so much stimulation that we can't go for a 30-second pee without bringing our phone with us? Like, come on. I am so guilty of this, and I need to stop. And even when I'm like nursing William, confession time, this was like a huge eye-opener for me. William has gotten to a point where he can like communicate things a little bit more, and he has realized almost every single time I go to nurse him, I first go and grab my phone. So now when he wants me to nurse him, he will go and he will find my phone and he'll bring it to me. Ouch. My 1.5-year-old sees this, and he knows this. Sorry. He sees mom on her phone so much. This addiction needs to stop. A very easy place to start is in the bathroom. I want to complain less. First of all, does complaining make me feel good? No. Does it make others around me feel good? No. Am I being a good example to my children by complaining? No, I am not. And that is one of the biggest reasons why I want to complain less. I need to stop that habit. I can keep those thoughts to myself. I don't have to be voicing all those complaints and those thoughts, because the more that my children hear me complain, the more likely they are to complain. They're learning from me. If they could see me just being thankful with whatever situation I'm in, that would be a much more healthier thing for them to see and to learn from me than to complain. Because you know what? I cannot control my circumstances, but I can control how I react to them. And complaining is just a really super unnecessary thing that I don't need to be doing. Going off of that, another thing I really want to work on is shifting my mindset. I am someone who oftentimes sees the glass half empty. I want to be the person who sees the glass half full. I want to be someone who has a really positive outlook on life, who really just embraces whatever situation I'm in, makes the most of it, doesn't complain about it, doesn't get upset about it super easily, who just will embrace it and be okay with it and move on. To let go of my own expectations and to just be okay with whatever the circumstances are. To have joy. That's just the joy of the Lord in my heart, and to be able to display that joy to those around me. There is an Instagram page that I follow. She's got like really good reels and tips and things on just shifting your mindset, being a more positive person. A lot of the reels that she posts, especially surrounding motherhood, hit so close to home. Just seeing how she shifts her mindset is just really cool. So I'll leave that link below. Do a load of laundry a day. I already try and do this, but I've not been very good at it. I can get a load of laundry in every morning, but that's kind of as far as I get most days. A lot of days it doesn't even get into the dryer, much less folded and put away. I want to get to a point where every single day I am diligently putting a load in the washer, putting it in the dryer, folding it, and putting it away all in the same day. That way the laundry doesn't pile up, it doesn't become overwhelming, and if I can make it a part of my routine, it doesn't feel like a lot of work. I want to work less. For the last 6 years, I have worked tirelessly to get to where I am on social media today, to get to this point on YouTube, to get to this point on Instagram, to grow my brand and my business and my channel. Obviously that hard work has paid off, but I also need to think about where my priorities are. And my priorities are my family. What is that gonna look like for this channel? I don't know. I'd like to continue with what I've got going on right now. Like right now I'm doing a vlog every single week, and then every other week I'm posting an additional video that's like this sit down video, or like a cleaning video, or a thrifting video, or just like a different video other than a vlog. And I like that. It's nice. Sometimes it feels like a lot, but it feels pretty doable. I feel like there are just areas of my job that I need to learn to let go of, that I maybe need to hand off to someone else to take care of. I want to give more of myself to my family and less of myself to my work, because my priority isn't this. It should never be this. This is important. I mean, it pays the bills, and it is more than just the money. It's about connection and community and so much more. It's so much more than just the money. So obviously this is important, but my family is up here, and I need to make sure they stay up here. The next one, be more social. This is coming from an introvert. I am an introvert who wants to be more social. I want to spend more time with friends. I want to spend more time with family. I want to make those memories and those connections and those friendships and make those relationships more of a priority. I mean, that's just a really important thing in life, right? It's just to be social, to have friends, and to constantly be working at those friendships and relationships, because it doesn't work if you're not putting in the effort, right? So I want to put in more effort into those relationships and friendships. Number 22, have mom and dad be in the frame more. A lot of the time I find that when I'm like capturing memories, I'm really mostly just capturing my children, and I forget to have dad in the frame, to have mom in the frame. But my children look back on those memories, they're gonna wanna see mom and dad. They're gonna wanna see that relationship that they had with mom and dad growing up. They wanna see us too. Lastly, number 23, I want to take care of my skin more than I do. I'm the person who has never done a skincare routine. I shave my legs like 3 times a year. Like I'm that person who just really doesn't take care of my skin. As I'm getting older, I'm noticing my skin being a lot more sensitive, a lot more dry, really kind of suffering a little bit. So I want to take that time to take care of my skin. As the wrinkles, slowly start to come in, I want to just, be gentle with my skin, be gentle with myself, hydrate my skin better, and, just take care of myself. I don't want to go crazy having a big, crazy skincare routine where it gets really expensive and I'm doing all this stuff to my face, putting all this stuff on my face. I want to just be at a point where I'm just taking care of myself. Anyway, that concludes today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it challenging and uplifting and encouraging, and maybe you could take some of these healthy habits and goals and incorporate them into your own life and your own goals for this year. I know it's already like 2 weeks into January by the time this video goes live. I tried to film it sooner, didn't happen. Trying to work less. Sometimes things are just gonna be delayed a little bit, but regardless, I hope that this just uplifted you a little bit and challenged you. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Tell me one of your healthy habits or goals for this year that you really, really want to work on. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.